and welcome back to the 411 on Tech. We recently did an unboxing of a couple of new handhelds, one of them being the Analogue Pocket. We've had some time to use it and wanted to give you guys a full review and share our thoughts. Analogue has been creating FPGA-based retro gaming consoles for years now, like the NT Mini and the Mega SG, and they don't disappoint. The Analogue Pocket is no exception. It's a handheld gaming console meant to play your physical game cards from a number of handheld systems, specifically Game Boy systems, but also for the Game Gear and support for more systems in the near future. And the Analogue Pocket is coming in at $219. So if you're looking for the best way to enjoy your old handheld games, stick around because we're going to get into it right after this.
The Analogue Pocket comes in two colors. You can get either black or white. We went with the black model, but it can be somewhat of a fingerprint magnet. The white also looks really good as well. The Pocket is all plastic but looks and feels very premium, just like other Analogue products. When you look at the Pocket, it immediately reminds you of the original DMG Game Boy. This looks like a Game Boy Nintendo would have made if it kept updating the original model. The look of the Pocket is in keeping with other Analogue products, clean and minimalistic, yet fully functional. You have a small model designation at the bottom left of the screen letting you know the product is from Analogue and is called the Pocket. You have an FPGA debossed on the front like a badge of honor. FPGA has become synonymous with quality in the retro gaming world, and they want you to know the Pocket is packing FPGA technology. In fact, the Pocket is packing two FPGAs. FPGAs, or field programmable gate arrays, are chips that can be programmed to mimic the chips in original consoles and handhelds. So it's recreation, not emulation of the original hardware. Then on the back of the Pocket you have the Analogue logo.
On the front of the Pocket you have 4 face buttons, unlike the original Game Boy handhelds which only had 2. And the face buttons are similar to what you get on an SNES controller. The top 2 face buttons are concave and the bottom 2 are convex. On the opposite side you have your D-pad. The D-pad feels pretty good and it has just the right amount of clickiness and nice travel. Also on the front, at the bottom, you have your usual suspects, the start and select button, and sandwiched between them is the analog menu button. Moving on to the left side, at the top you have a speaker. The Pocket has stereo speakers, so there is one on each side. Below that you have the volume up and down, which also doubles as the mute button when you hold both buttons down at the same time. And then you have the power button. I like the green, which adds a pop of color and is a nice contrast against the all-black shell. On the right side, you have the second speaker and micro SD card slot. You need a micro SD card to update the firmware on the Pocket, which we recommend doing before first use to make sure everything is up to date. You'll also need a micro SD card to take advantage of some other features as well. On the bottom of the Pocket, you have a USB Type-C port for charging, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and you even have a port for the Game Boy link cable so you can connect to another Pocket or Game Boy for multiplayer gameplay. Finally, on the back you have left and right shoulder buttons. They are smaller than most shoulder buttons, so some people might find them too small, but for us they were just right. And in between the 2 shoulder buttons is the card slot for your games. Game carts go in nicely and feel secure.
The supported cartridges out of the box are Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. That's around 3,000 plus games. So there's a lot of fun to be had with the Analogue Pocket, whether it be replaying old favorites or discovering new games you didn't get to play back in the day. The screen, which is just a masterpiece, is a 3.5-inch LCD with a screen density of 1615 pixels per inch. The resolution of this screen is 1600 by 1440. Which is 10 times the resolution of the original Game Boy's 160 by 144 screen resolution. So it's a perfect 10x integer scale. The screen is also a variable refresh rate display and is covered by Gorilla Glass, the same type of durable glass used on smartphones today. When playing Game Boy Advance games, there is a noticeable bezel, but the aspect ratio is the same as the Game Boy Advance, just with bezels. Also, on the left and right sides of the Pocket you have speakers, so you get stereo sound here. The speakers sound nice, and they get loud and are clear of distortion at high volumes. The original Game Boy had just one speaker for mono sound, so you could only get stereo sound with headphones.
A great feature of the Analogue Pocket is save states, which is something you usually only see with emulation. Save states are still a beta feature, so functionality is limited. Currently, you can only have one game's save state at a time. In the near future, though, you will have the ability to save multiple games' save states to the micro SD card. To save the current state of your game, hold down the analog menu button while pressing up on the D-pad. You can then load your save state by pressing down on the D-pad. Having save states is always a nice feature, so you can save your games at any time. You also have the ability to put the Pocket in sleep mode with a quick press of the power button, which will suspend the game and put the Pocket into a low power sleep mode. And when you're ready to pick back up where you left off, just hit the power button again to wake the system and you're back in action. One thing to note though is sleep mode is not supported with flash cards. Another nice feature is not having to worry about regularly replacing your AA batteries. The Pocket has a 4300 mAh built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Analogue says that you should expect 6 to 10 hours of gameplay and 10 plus hours of sleep time. And in the box you also get a USB Type-C cable for charging.
There are a number of accessories Analogue sells for the Pocket. The accessory we were most interested in was the Analogue Dock. Being able to play Game Boy games on a big screen and have a good experience doing it has long been at the top of many retro gamers' wish lists. Right now, the best way to do this is with the GBA Consolizer or playing on a Mister. The latter doesn't allow you to use real carts though. The dock allows you to connect your Pocket to your HDTV via HDMI and outputs in 1080p. On the back of the dock, there are two USB ports for connecting controllers and the HDMI port, USB-C for power, and a pairing button. The dock supports 4 controllers over Bluetooth and 2 controllers over 2.4 GHz. Playing the Pocket on our Sony BVM is high on our wish list. However, right now the dock is not compatible with Analogue's DAC, so you can't output to a CRT yet. But I'm sure with a firmware update, support for the DAC is coming. The dock is also able to be powered on via a controller, which is very nice and very Nintendo Switch-like. One feature we hope will come to the dock is support for the different display modes, which Michelle will talk more about later. For the different systems you can use in the handheld mode. The functionality of the dock is limited, but there are definitely more features to come.
The dock is definitely a nice addition. Some other accessories that you can get to go along with the Analogue Pocket, as we mentioned in our unboxing video, are adapters which allow you to play even more games. Currently, you can purchase a Game Gear adapter that allows you to play your Game Gear games. Sometime later this year, Analogue is going to offer adapters for the Neo Geo Pocket, Atari Lynx, and TurboGrafx 16. Adapters aren't cheap though. They are $30 a piece, so if you want all of them, you're looking at another $120. But I think it's really awesome that you can play games from all these systems on one handheld, and just like the Game Boy games, the FPGA cores replicate the systems as if you're playing on original hardware. If you want a protective case to store your Pocket in, Analogue offers a clear hard case for $30. And to give that beautiful screen an extra layer of protection, they also offer a tempered glass screen protector. As I mentioned earlier, the Pocket has a link port, and you can purchase a link cable from Analogue for $16. Then you can connect to another Pocket, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance for multiplayer gameplay with a friend. There are a couple of other cables that you can purchase as well for something called Nanoloop, that we will talk more about later, but it allows you to connect the Pocket to a PC, Mac, or other external devices. And finally, you can also purchase an 18-watt USB-C fast charging power brick for $20, but if you purchase the dock, it comes with one in the box.
Playing games on the Pocket is an excellent affair. The cards slide in easily and feel snug enough that you don't worry about them falling out if you actually bump them while playing. Putting cards into an original Game Boy feels a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. The Game Boy and Game Boy Color games are flush with the top of the Pocket after you put them in. The best thing about playing on the Pocket is the screen. you can actually see. The original Game Boy screen wasn't the greatest, leading to all kinds of accessories such as backlights, which was a light you would shine on the screen so you could see. Nowadays there are IPS screen mods you can have done to your Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance to improve this problem. By the time you get those mods done and have a modder install them, you may spend as much or more than the price of the Analogue Pocket. In addition, those IPS screen mods aren't perfect, and the display you're getting here is far better. The buttons feel nice when playing games, and the D-pad is good. You just have to be very specific with your inputs when doing diagonals. As of the making of this video, you can't play ROMs off the micro SD card. That may be supported in the future. However, it does support flash cards, and we played Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games from our EverDrive flash cards.
Now let's talk about the software. The Analogue OS is new, so it's still a work in progress, and as soon as you boot it up, you will quickly notice that not all options are available right away, as indicated by some options being grayed out. When you first turn on the Pocket, you'll see 5 options. The options that are currently available are Play Cartridge, Tools, and Settings. Play Cartridge is just what it sounds like, allowing you to load your current attached game card. We'll skip over Tools for now, as we will be talking about the features available there later. Moving on to Settings, the first option you will see here is Systems. This is where you will see all systems listed that are currently supported. Selecting one, you will see that there are a number of settings you can adjust for each system to customize your experience for video, audio, controls, and hardware. And there's a good amount of customization here. Under video, you can change the display mode, which will allow you to choose how you want your games to look. For each system, Analogue has their own display mode, which gives you a more modern but accurate pixel-perfect look. However, if you miss that classic look of, say, the original Game Boy DMG green screen, you got it. For Game Boy games, there is also a display mode that replicates the Game Boy Pocket and the Game Boy Light. There are also OG modes for the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and Game Gear if you're looking for the original look for each system. Display modes are not filters or overlays like you would see with emulation. They actually reconfigure the FPGA chip to reconfigure the hardware to recreate each look. Color palettes is another cool option available for Game Boy games. We particularly like the green color palette, but you also can choose from grayscale, blue, mint, or purple. In the future, you will be able to create your own custom color palettes, which will be a nice addition. Frame blending is another option. The pixel response times of the original Game Boy was really slow, so to display transparent items such as water, developers would flicker the water image on screen, the result being transparent water. When these effects run on the Pocket, you see a rapidly flickering image due to the Pocket's faster pixel response. To remedy this, you would turn frame blending on. So you might be thinking just leave the frame blending on and you're all set. However, frame blending can have undesirable visual effects in other games, so you need to use this option on a game-by-game basis. You can also change the sharpness, desaturation, and size and position for each system. And most of these options and settings you can change on the fly in-game by just hitting the analog menu button. You can also quickly cycle through display modes in-game by holding the analog menu button and then hit left and right on the D-pad.
2 other cool features of the Pocket OS are the inclusion of the tools GB Studio and Nanoloop. GB Studio is a program that lets you drag and drop code to create homebrew games with the .pocket file extension. You can place these files on your Pocket's microSD card, then play them on the Pocket. It is marketed as users don't need any programming knowledge, so it should be pretty easy to pick up. Next, Nanoloop is a program that allows you to create chiptunes. It's an audio workstation that has a built-in synthesizer and sequencer. And with the various cables Analogue sells, you can connect the Pocket to a PC or Mac or MIDI gear and create your own chiptune masterpieces with Nanoloop. We will play around with this in the future to see what we can come up with. If you have experience making chiptunes, you probably benefit more out of this feature than most. There is a chiptune making scene that uses original Game Boys to make songs, so it's nice to see Nanoloop included here.
So now on to final thoughts. I've really been enjoying this a lot. Like, you've seen me play the Game Boy, in the Game Boy Advance with like literally the flashlight on my phone.
Yeah.
Like trying to see, because
on the original, yeah.
Yeah, I generally like to play, I think both of us, like in darker settings, and it's really hard to see these guys in the dark. So just being able to play these games, they look great. The screen is really nice, and again, you can actually see. So that's been really nice, and having the ability to play flashcards, really, really awesome. So we've been playing on those as well as our physical cards, and the option to play all these other console system games. So you have the TurboGrafx 16 coming, the Atari Lynx,
Neo Geo Pocket Color,
which are games that I really never played.
Right.
And then to have to get all that that hardware, it's nice that you can play them all in here. And with the FPGA, it replicates it where it's like you're playing on the original hardware.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to do that. And then having the dock too is really nice. Like with the Switch, we're always, we like to play docked mode so we can see it, on a bigger display. So that's nice. And I like the design too. Like, it looks similar to what the Game Boy is, but in a more modern, like sleek, minimalistic, kind of design. And then I like the nice little touch of the green power button, kind of like what you saw with the Pixel 2s when they came out. So I've been enjoying it a lot. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely like it. I really like those display modes. So you have the different display modes to change the screen to be, the analog, which is kind of pixel perfect, but then you have the original modes, and you have that for all the consoles. I do want to see that come to the dock mode, but that's really nice. And also having this is a better solution, because before I was thinking about getting the GBA consolizer, so you would be able to play the Game Boy games, the Game Boy Advance on a TV, but then you would have the GBA consolizer. But then you also sometimes when you play handheld mode, so then you would need to get a Game Boy Advance model with an IPS screen, of rechargeable batteries, and upgraded sound and those kind of things. But here you have it all in one package, and you can play the games with the original carts and everything, which we really like. We're building our handheld cart library, but then you have it just all in one package, and so that's really nice. And we know that there's going to be more features added as they update the OS, and then the analog OS is going to have a history, so you'll have pictures of the games you're playing and a little bit about them and things like that. It'll be a little
cover art and stuff
cover art
like that,
and things about the game. So that's coming. They're probably gonna add more features to the dock. Now I know everybody's wanting the jailbreak firmware, so maybe that will also come in the future. We'll be able to play ROMs off the micro SD card, and also have other cores that you'll be able to play on here. So maybe in the future you'll be able to play Nintendo and Super Nintendo and the handheld on the go as well. So the future of this is very exciting. It's a good product. A little hard to get, so you definitely want to get your pre-order in. I think right now it's out to 2023. So definitely get your pre-order in. I mean, you can get these on eBay, but I wouldn't recommend paying those prices. So it's definitely a good product if you're looking. So this is if you're looking to play the most accurate, best quality, and you want to play original cards, and you can also use flashcards, but if you want the best quality, because you can get other handhelds from Ambernick, and you just play emulation, but you're not going to get anywhere near the picture quality and the accurate authenticity that you're going to get here. So this is for someone that's really looking for that. If you're just looking for casual, then you can go one of those other handheld emulation routes. But it's a really great product. Analog is on it again. I just wish they had more available, but they're also under the crunch of chip shortage. But so are other companies. Even when we didn't have the chip shortage, analog products are always in low quantity. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But definitely get that pre-order in if you want. If this is something that interests you. If you want the most accurate way to play, best way to play, the screen is really awesome. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed this. Please do remember to subscribe, like, and comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.